Alex, welcome back to my channel. Today's another episode of my makeup and brushes of the day video series. And in today's video, I'm not going to be doing like little inserted clips of me putting makeup on. I will have a separate makeup tutorial for you guys that I filmed right before I did this video. So if it's not up already, I will make sure it will be coming up soon. If it's up already, I'll definitely have it linked down below for you guys. So let's just jump on into the products that I used today to create this look. The first thing is the e.l.f. Makeup Mist and Set Spray. So unfortunately, these reviews are probably going to be a little bit repetitive, and because I'm probably going to be showing you guys a lot of the same products. But, you know, this makeup mist is okay. I'll use it up, no problem. It's not unusable. I just don't particularly like it just because it's not refreshing enough to me. You know, I can't tell if it makes my makeup last longer, and there's just nothing special about it. Like, it works, like, if you really need a setting spray and, you know, scent isn't that important to you, then maybe this would be a good way to go because you can save some money. It's a little bit cheaper than other products and way cheaper than some of the higher end setting sprays. But for me, I really like the feeling, the calmness that comes if you spray something that's refreshing on your face. So I will not be repurchasing this, but I will use it up. Now, the next product that I went in with is the e.l.f. HD Lifting Concealer. Whenever I'm doing a little bit more fun looks like this, especially heavier looks, I like to first go in with my eye makeup, then my face makeup. So I used this e.l.f. HD Lifting Concealer and placed it on my lid and on my brow bone, and then I blended it in with the Sigma Precision Round P82 brush. So this brush I used to use all the time whenever I was using MAC paint pots. I obviously don't use MAC paint pots anymore because I am cruelty-free and vegan. But if you guys know of any good dupes for MAC paint pots, let me know because I haven't found really good ones, especially something that's really flesh toned, like, oh, I forget what it was called. I haven't used it in that long, but there's one that's like a really popular one that's like flesh toned. Like, if you guys know any good vegan cruelty-free dupes for that, or if they're cruelty-free, I can look to see if it's vegan or not. But I need something like that. But in the meantime, I just use concealers. And this is, yeah, like I said, this is the brush that I used to use to put on the MAC paint pot. So the other day I picked it up and I just started blending it in just to get to that smaller area. And I really want to get more precision brushes from Sigma Beauty because I feel like they're going to be really good, especially because I've had such great success with this one. And I really think it's a high quality brush. It works really, really well. I've never had any problems with this, and this has definitely been a favorite brush of mine in the past. I don't know if I mentioned before, and I don't think I've mentioned it in a long time because I haven't really touched it, but I just started messing around with this lately, and I really like it to blend in the concealer on my lid and then on my brow bone. And the e.l.f. HD Lifting Concealer is just a staple item in my collection. I've repurchased this many times. I really like it. It really covers up, you know, redness on your cheeks, and it doesn't look too cakey. It's not too drying. It just really works well. The next thing I went in with is this My Cool 88 My Makeup Brush Set Eyeshadow Palette. And I used a couple colors today, well actually only two. So I went in with this pink shade in the crease and then this white shade on the lid. But the first thing that I did was, once I put my concealer on, is I went in with this pink shade right here because I was going for a pink snow type of look. I did do a spray makeup tutorial where I think I used more of the magenta, heavier, darker pinks, but this one I wanted it to be a little bit more subtle. So I went with this top pink one right here and put that in my crease, and eventually I put it on my lower lash line. So for my crease, I went in with the Sigma E40 Tapered Blending Brush. I love this brush for the crease. It is a little bit big. If you have smaller eyes, you may not like it as much, but whenever I'm using lighter shades, I'm okay with it. If I'm doing a dark crease look or dark overall dark look where I'm going to be using a really dark crease shade, then I don't go for this one because it's a little bit too much. But for something like lighter like this worked out really great. I've never had any problems with this brush. It seems to be a popular brush from Sigma. I'm really happy with the quality of it, so I would recommend this brush, especially if you have bigger eyes. And after I put that pink eyeshadow in the crease, I went in with ColourPop Hope, which is a Super Shock shadow in sheer opal. Fortunately, it's no longer available unless you want to find it somewhere on Amazon for like $100. I don't freaking know. But at this point, it just seems like everything is discontinued or is a limited edition product. Like, it's so hard to find staple products, especially when it comes to like eyeshadows and eyeshadow palettes, and like ColourPop's discontinuing stuff all the time. So unfortunately, until I grow my collection more, I'm probably going to be mentioning stuff that you can't get anymore. But I had nothing else to create. I was just trying to create a look without like limiting myself and repeating the same stuff over and over again. So this is kind of like a whitish pink eyeshadow, and it really just has reflex of pink on it. So I put this all over my lid, but I wanted to add more white to it. So, and when I put it on my lid, I used my middle finger to place it onto my lid. And then I went in with this white shade right here and placed that all over my lid. And to place that, I went in with the Sigma Eye Shading E55 brush, and I just put it on the flat part and just kind of like patted it in. And then after I did that, I went in, back in with ColourPop Hope, used my middle finger, and then just tapped it right on top. So it was kind of mixing in these two shadows together onto the lid. So I really do enjoy this eyeshadow that I picked up from ColourPop. It's really high quality. Even though it's been a long time since I've had this and it is starting to dry, I still was able to use it no problem. So, but I can definitely tell that it's like kind of getting mad at me, and I want to use it more. But like I said, I try not to use stuff that's limited edition or has been discontinued. But I don't want this to go to waste because it is a really, really pretty eyeshadow. So, especially because of the sheer opal finish, I really want to try out more sheer opal finishes. I don't know if there's that many though, but if there is, I need to like get more because they're really cool. And the Sigma Eye Shading E55 brush, I think is fine. I use it quite a bit, but it's not like my ride or die. Like if it disappeared from my collection, if I lost it, I wouldn't cry about it. But at the same time, I like it. It comes into use to pat on stuff onto the lid or even to get onto the brow bone. If I really want to do like a more neutral color on the lower lash line, I can just use the end of it and go right underneath the end. But it's high quality. There's no breakage, so I really do like this brush. And the My Cool 88 eyeshadow palette I mentioned in one of my previous makeup of the day, brushes of the day video. And I really like it. It's not consistent within the palette as far as quality goes, but it's perfect for whenever I want to make special looks, and I can just pull from this palette. And it's my what I call my complementary palette, where if I'm thinking of a look, this is where I go to probably find like a crease shade or a lower lash line shade, and it comes in handy quite a bit. So I really do like it a lot, even if it's not the best quality. Now with this look, I was going for like a pinkish whitish look, but also a highlighty look. So for the brow bone, I wanted to go in with a highlighter, and this is a limited edition item that you can no longer get, and it came out in ColourPop's Holiday 2016 collection, but it's ColourPop Fanny Pack, and it's a white highlighter. It's pearlized. I really think that this particular highlighter needs to come back because it's a pure white highlight, perfect for someone with fair skin, and I really like it. But what I did was, instead of putting it on my cheekbone, I first went in with it on my brow bone, and I just used my pinky finger to place it on there. And I think I also used the Sigma Shader Lid E56 brush to place it a little bit too, just to make sure I didn't miss anything with my pinky finger. So I just kind of went over it with this, which I really, really like this particular brush. I love using it on the inner corner of my eye. It's meant for your lid. It says, at least it says shader lid. I never use it for my lid, and I don't think I have big eyes, but I'm like, that is so small for a lid. It's a little bit big for the inner corner, but it's fine as long as you're not going in with something too crazy. And you can also like make sure you don't put too much on the brush and just make it more on the end of the brush. But I think this is great for the inner corner of your eye and then your brow bone. The next thing I did was go in with the e.l.f. Cream Gel Liner in black, and I really like this liner, so I just used that today. I've been going back and forth about which eyeliner I like because there's pros and cons to all of them. I kind of feel like I need to do like an eyeliner review for you guys. But to place it, I used the e.l.f. Small Smudge Brush, and I just put it right on the tip and just dragged it across and then flicked out a little bit of a wing. So I really love these little e.l.f. brushes. They're really great for whenever you want to do like a line on your eye or get into like a really tiny place on your face with something. But this has come in handy so much, so I really like it, and it looks really well with this cream eyeliner. And the cream eyeliner I think is good quality. I don't have any problem with it. My only problem is sometimes gel liner moves or cream liner moves a little bit more. But that's just cream liner in general. But it's really creamy. I've had it for a long time, and it's still really creamy in the pot. Like, it's not drying out. And I think the packaging is cute. Like, it's a little glass, I'm assuming. And, you know, it's pretty small. So it's lasted me a long time. So I'm happy with this purchase. Then after I went in with the eyeliner, I went in with the e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer. This is one of my favorite face primers of all time. It's really like, you know, gel-like, but a little bit more cushion to it. I've talked about it so much, so I don't want to get into it too much. I really like the packaging. I would highly recommend it. e.l.f. primers are my favorite primers of all time, and I've repurchased this a couple of times. And to place it, I use my hands to place it. So my fingers. I place it. Oh, I want to get foundation on me. I dropped the other product that was coming next. But yeah, so highly recommend this product. And the next thing I went in with is the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation. It doesn't say it on the bottle, which really pisses me off. I'm like, always like, and maybe I'm just blind and don't see it, but I've read this thing like a million times and it doesn't. But it does at least say the shade. It is porcelain. So I just picked the lightest shade. When it comes to foundations, I just picked the lightest shade at this point just because I have such fair skin that seems to be the way to go. It seems to be what works. And I'm so back and forth on this foundation. Like, I really like the way that it applies, but at the same time I notice that my skin is a little patchy, so it doesn't cover up the patchiness, but at the same time, like, I don't know if it necessarily makes it look worse. Sometimes I'm like, this is amazing, and sometimes I'm like, I don't like it. I'm like, why am I wearing it? Because I have this little patch here. But I'm like, but do I pay enough attention to when I'm wearing the e.l.f. Acne Fighting Foundation? Like, I'm paying more attention to this because this is something that I'm in the process of reviewing and testing out for you guys. But, you know, so I think there are pros and cons to both, but I'm not upset that I have it because it's not something, like, I'm still able to use, at a minimum, no matter what, I'm still able to use it. It's not like, oh, I got this, it sucks, and now I can't even use it. Like, I'm still using it. So I will keep you guys posted on how I feel about it, but I'm kind of back and forth right now, and I'm still kind of testing things out. And then to apply it, I went in with the SLMS Glam Macaroon M02 Curved Contour Brush. So I've used a ton of my foundation brushes since I've moved here. I've been here for over 2 months, and I have not cleaned any of my makeup brushes yet. It's so bad, but it's just like there's so many other things that I'd rather do than clean my makeup brushes and get done. So I just kind of been starting to dig for other brushes that I wouldn't typically use for foundation. I have mentioned this brush though before for foundation, and it's great for foundation, and then you have like this curve so you can kind of get right in there underneath your eye. And all SLMS Glam Beauty brushes are really high quality. I've had no problems with them like fraying or anything. So this blended in the foundation really well. This was another brush that went really well with this foundation. And so I think this, typically I think this would be for cream contouring, bottom cream contour, but if you think if it's good for a cream, it's probably gonna work for a foundation. So it works pretty well for a foundation, so I'm happy with this brush. Then I went back in with the e.l.f. HD Lifting Concealer, which once again is amazing. And to apply it, I went in with this SLMS Glam Beauty Foundation brush. I don't even know if this brush is available anymore, but there are other brushes I think that are similar to this. But either way, all SLMS Glam Beauty brushes are high quality, they're beautiful, they have the double rhinestone, at least most of them do. And I really, I honestly have never had a problem with any of her brushes. So this worked out great. I kind of like going in with these more flat foundation brushes to do concealer because I can just paint it on. I don't like to do my whole face with it, like if I can avoid it. But doing a smaller area, I don't mind doing the more painting type of foundation brush. And then if I have to, I just kind of rub it in with my fingers. But her brushes work pretty well, so that is what I did to put the concealer on my cheeks and right underneath my eyes. Then the next thing that I went in with is this ColourPop blush in Prenup. And I wanted to do something that was a little bit more pinky, and I think it's a really pretty blush. A lot of the time when I'm asking you guys what ColourPop products you really enjoy or what blushes you recommend from ColourPop, a lot of you always mention Prenup. So I definitely think that's a good staple blush to have, and I really wanted it for this look. I think it's just such a pretty shade, and I love the quality of it. I applied it with my fingers. I only apply blush from ColourPop with my fingers. It's just too creamy. It's just a little weird to use a brush. I've never found a brush that works really well. Like maybe I'll use a brush to kind of blend it out after I've applied it, but to apply and do most of the blending, I use my middle finger. So I kind of like tap it on, blend it, maybe use another finger to do the rest of the blending. So that is what I do with that, but I highly recommend just ColourPop in general, ColourPop blushes. And the next product I went in with is this Prime and Stay Finishing Powder that's translucent from e.l.f. Cosmetics. I really do like this powder. It's light enough for my very fair skin tone, and even if it ends up being a little bit light at times, I can use it as more like a highlighting powder. So that's kind of what I did today. I kind of highlighted my face. I went underneath my eyes, I went right on my forehead, my nose, right here, chin, and then right underneath my cheeks. So I really did like using this today, and I think the powder is good. I'm not saying it blows my mind, but it is a good powder. And to apply it, I use the Sigma Tapered Highlighter F35 brush, which has a little bit of a pointed end, so that way I could really get right underneath of my eyes. So I really like this brush. This is one of my favorite brushes of all time from Sigma Beauty, so I would highly recommend checking it out. Just FYI, some of the stuff that I tell you may be a little bit different in how it looks in the tutorial, like the order of which I go, because I can't remember, but you will see the exact order. But pretty much the next step was to go in with a highlighter. So the first highlighter I used is another LE highlighter from ColourPop called Strat, and it is a pearlized finish, and it is a pink highlighter. So I just used, I think, my middle finger and then just tapped it onto my cheekbones and then eventually onto the tip of my nose and my Cupid's bow. Then on top of everywhere that I just told you, I went back in with ColourPop Fanny Pack. So once again, I used like my middle finger, put it on top of my cheekbone, on my nose, on my Cupid's bow. So that is what I did there. Then I'm not 100% on the order, but I think I used my pinky finger on the middle, on my inner corner of my eye, and I went in with Fanny Pack. I'm pretty sure I went in with Fanny Pack on the inner corners of my eye, because I wanted to have a little bit of white there and a highlighty. But then I kind of wanted to incorporate the eyeshadow that I used called Hope from ColourPop, and I used my middle finger, or my pinky finger again, and then got on that inner corner there. And then on top of that, I used my pinky finger, and I used ColourPop Tassel to get on that inner corner of the eye. I also used, again, the Sigma Shader Lid E56 brush, which I mentioned is really good for the inner corner of the eye. So I kind of just wanted to make sure everything was perfect. So I went in a little bit with the eyeshadow from ColourPop just to dab it in a little bit more, because I was just trying to make sure there was a good mixture of highlightiness, sparkliness, pink and white, and that whole mixture. So I did a lot of layering in this look today. Sorry, I just have like so many products on me. And then just back to Strap, because I really didn't talk about it much, but it is a really pretty pink shade. Another shade that I really think that they need to make as a staple item. Like, I have a lot of requests from ColourPop. I love ColourPop so much, but it's like the older, younger sister that you're just like, come on, I love you so much, but like, stop being annoying. Like, I don't know. But this is such a pretty pink shade, and it's great for someone with fair skin because it's not too dark. It's perfect, and it mixed really well with Fanny Pack. Next products I went in with are the ColourPop Taupe Brow Pencil. So I just brushed out my brows with the brush end, and then I just used the other end to fill in my brows. I love the shade of this brow pencil. I love the price. It's very affordable. It works well with my new hair color. It was a little too dark for my really bright blonde hair, but I'm really liking it now. So it's not my favorite brow brush of all time, but it still works really great and it's affordable. And then the next product that I use is the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. This is my favorite brow gel that I've tried. I've only tried two, to be fair. I'm pretty sure I've tried three, but only two of the three that I've tried are cruelty-free and vegan, and I really do enjoy this clear brow gel. I think this is like my third or fourth, but it's like I've had this last one for a really long time. Like, I've been trying to just use it here and there just to keep it, but once I run out of it, I definitely want to replace it, but I'm not going to replace it until I can afford to replace it. So it probably won't be right away, but I'll probably have to purchase like an e.l.f. clear brow gel first. That's more, affordable. But once I'm like, you know what, I have a little money to splurge, this will be an item that I think I'll purchase because I really do like the quality of it. And then after I did my brows, I just kind of plucked some hairs using these pair of tweezers. I think I got them from like CVS or something. And I just plucked away any of the brow hairs that were kind of out of place. Then I went back in with the e.l.f. Makeup Mist and Set and just sprayed that all over my face. As of the day that I filmed this video, I thought the Wet n Wild Max Fanatic Mascara was vegan friendly, but according to Wet n Wild's updated vegan list, it is no longer vegan, or it wasn't vegan and I just screwed up, so just keep that in mind. But I just did want to tell you what I was wearing, but I don't recommend it personally just because it's not vegan. And the last products I'm going to mention to you are all for my lips. I did like this big lippy cocktail today because I was just trying to mix colors and see to get it to where I wanted it to be. So the first shade that I went in with is called Solo. It's a ColourPop Ultra Matte Liquid Lipstick, so I put that all over my lips. But when I put it on, I'm like, this is a little too springy. Like, it wasn't exactly what I was going for. So I was like, okay. So I put that on. And then I think the next thing I went in with is this Wet n Wild A Single Glitter. This is in Groupie 355B. And I just used this to add some glitter to the look. So I just tapped that on with my finger. Then I went in with Trap, which is an Ultra Matte Liquid Lipstick from ColourPop, just to make it calmed down and less springy and more dead-like, but I didn't want it to be too dead. So when I mixed it, I'm like, okay, it calmed down the pink, but now it looks a little bit too grayish, dead kind of look. So, I don't know, I went in with the Anastasia Starlight highlighter and I tapped it onto my lips just to add more highlight, maybe calm that down a little bit and add a little bit more white to the look, but it still wasn't like exactly the pink that I wanted. So then I went in with ColourPop Dump Him, which is a bright pink. So that calmed down the deadness, and the thing is, if I just went in with this initially, it would be overall too bright, but because I had it paired with Trap, I think that's what made it good. So maybe if I had gone in with just Trap first and then this, that would have been the way to go. Maybe I could have just skipped Solo, I don't know, but I had to use all those products to get this look. So I did a lot of messing around with that. Sometimes if you don't have the right shade, you just kind of have to mix and match, and you know, maybe there was a better shade in my collection that I had, but I was just not finding it right away, so I kind of just kept mixing. And like I said, I wanted this look to be, you know, really glittery, so that's why I wanted to add in the two glittery products, the highlighter product and the actual single glitter eyeshadow, so that's what I did. And just generally speaking, I really love ColourPop Ultra Matte Liquid Lipsticks. I think that they're amazing. I like that they're long lasting. They don't get all over the place whenever you eat, and I highly recommend them. I'm obsessed. Obsessed with ColourPop Liquid Lipsticks and just ColourPop in general. I really like their products. And then the Wet n Wild Single Glitter Eyeshadow in Groupie, I think is only good if you're going to layer it on top of things. I would not buy it just to put on your lid and expect there to be enough color. Like, it'll be very patchy and terrible. But if you're doing it as just a way to add some glitter to your look, just to add a little pop, that's fine. But this is not to be used on its own. It's to use as like an extra layer. And then the Anastasia Illuminator and Starlight, I've mentioned a lot lately, but I just realized because someone commented on my Instagram account saying that they still wish that this highlighter was available, and I'm like, I didn't even realize that it was discontinued. I think there's some of these left, but it's like only in Rose Quartz or something, but not in Starlight. And I'm like, why do companies discontinue products so quickly? And I'm like, this is like a staple item. Like, if they came out with like a new version of these that had like a white highlight, okay, but why would you discontinue this? It just makes me so freaking mad. Why? And it's such a good highlighter for people with light skin, but now you can't get it, but whatever. So, but anyway, any of the stuff that I mentioned, just try to get a similar version of it. There's a lot of dupes for things, and the main thing is I was going for whites and pinks and white highlights and pink highlights. So that's all you kind of have to like think about, and just do what works with your skin tone. And then the ColourPop liquid or ColourPop lipstick in Dump Him is one of my favorite lipsticks of all time. It's not my favorite. The only reason why maybe it's not my #1 favorite lipstick is because it's not a liquid lipstick, but I absolutely love this shade. It is like a creamy matte, so it is pretty long lasting. It's a little bit more comfortable on the lips, but I still prefer ColourPop liquid lipsticks, but this was only $2.99. It's so worth it for the color. Like, it's so pretty. I have it a little messed up though now because there's some ColourPop trap on it, but whatever. But the color, if you are into regular lipstick like this, definitely check out Glamour Dolls. They're 100% vegan, and they have you know, some lipsticks that you can choose from, and Dump Him is definitely my favorite because it's like a bubblegum pink shade, and the quality is really good, so I would highly recommend checking them out. And I almost forgot to mention, after I put on a lot of my face products, I think before I did my brows, I went back in with my makeup brush set, my Cruelty-Free eyeshadow palette. Went back in with this pink shade here, and I put that on the lower lash line. And to place it, I used this brush from SLMS Glam Beauty. I don't know if this is available anymore, but it's more of like an eyeshadow brush. I definitely think that there's dupes for this in like other handles, like maybe in the white brush book or like something like that. So it's just like a basic eyeshadow brush, and I just used the tip of it and then put that underneath my eye. So I kind of tapped on the pink and then just brushed it back and forth. Another great high quality brush that's absolutely beautiful. Again, I highly recommend SLMS Glam Beauty brushes if you're looking for high quality brushes that are really gorgeous. Really gorgeous. They're really soft too. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have not subscribed to my channel already, please make sure to hit the subscribe button below. Click that little bell so that you're notified of when my videos have been posted. Like this video if you did like it, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye! For the individual shades, so I'm just going to go through them all. So we have a special delivery, which is vegan. It's an icy sea foam green with golden glitter, and it's an ultra